Welcome to all. Myself N. Sri Ramaliki Ganesha Perumal, Assistant Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Government College of Engineering, Srirangam, Trichy. In this video lecture, I am going to discuss about functions and recursion in C. Here we are going to discuss about the structured programming and then the modularization and then top-down approach. There is a particular method or family of methods that a software engineer might use to solve a problem is known as the methodology. During in late 1970s and 80s, the primary software engineering methodology was structured programming. Dijkstra introduced the term structured programming to refer to a set of principles, that is sequence, selection or branching, iteration or looping, etc. for writing well-organized programs that could be more easily shown to be correct. Here, the structured programming is a style of programming designed to make programs more comprehensible and programming errors less frequent. Other computer scientists added further principles such as modularization. What do you mean by modularization? That is breaking down a program into separate procedures, that is a small parts, such as for data input, different stages for processing and output or printing. Modularization makes it easier to figure out which part of a program may be causing a problem and to fix part of a program without affecting other parts. It enables programmers to break problems into small and easily understood components that eventually will comprise a complete system. Structured programming also encourages stepwise refinement. That is a top-down approach in which the stages of processing are first described in high-level terms like pseudocode and then gradually elaborated in their details. That is, the planning activities of the problem solving are carried out in the direction from general to specific. The structured programming refers to the implementation of the resulting design. It requires planning and organization, but a good design will often save much time when it comes to actual implementation, and the resulting code will be more elegant and readable. Here, the functions form an important part of top-down design and structured programming. Using functions, it removes the need to repeat identical group of statements within programs when the same task must be performed several times. Also, the use of functions allows libraries of frequently used software to be built up and reused in different programs, thus allowing the creation of compact and efficient programs. Then the concept of functions. A function is a self-contained block of program statements that performs a particular task. It is often defined as the section of program performing a specific job. In fact, the concept of functions, which were originally a subset of a concept called subroutine, came up because of the following deliberation. Imagine a program wherein a set of operations has to be repeated often, though not continuously, n times or so. If they had to be repeated continuously, loops could be used. Instead of inserting the program statements for these operations at so many places, write a separate program segment and compile it separately, as many times as it is needed. Keep calling the segment to get the result. The separate program segment is called a function, and the program that call it is called the main program. Here in C, the entire concept of programming is divided into combination of functions. C also provides a lot of library functions like scanf, printf and main function. The special function main is where the program execution begins. When a function is called upon with or without handling over of some input data, it returns information to the main program or calling function from where it was called. What is the need for function? It makes programs significantly easier to understand and maintain by breaking up a program into easily manageable chunks. Even without software engineering, functions allow the structure of the program to reflect the structure of its application. Secondly, the main program can consist of a series of function calls rather than countless lines of code. It can be executed as many times as necessary from different points in the main program. Without the ability to package a block of code into a function, the program would end up with being much larger, since one would typically need to replicate the same code at various points in them. The third benefit is that well-written functions may be reused in multiple programs. The C standard library is an example of the reuse of functions. This enables code sharing. That is, all C programs contain at least one function called the main function, where the execution starts. Returning from this function, the program execution terminates, and the return value is treated as an indication of success or failure of program execution. When a function is called, the code contained in that function is executed, and when the function has finished executing, control returns to the point at which that function was called. The program steps through the statements in sequence in the normal way until it comes across a call to a particular function. At that point, the execution moves to the start of that function, that is the first statement in the body of the function. The execution of the program continues through the function statements until it hits a return statement or reaches the closing brace marking the end of the function body. This signals that the execution should go back to the point immediately after where the function was originally called. Functions are used by calling them from other functions. When a function is used, it is referred to as the called function. Such functions often use data that is passed to them from the calling function. Parameter provides the means by which you pass information from the calling function into the called function. Only after the called function successfully receives the data can the data be manipulated to produce a useful result. Here is the function prototype declaration. All the header files contain declarations for a range of functions as well as definitions for various constants. In a C program, a user return function should normally be declared prior to its use to allow the compiler to perform type checking on the arguments used in its call statement or calling construct. The general form of the function declaration statement is as follows. That is, return data type function name within brackets data type variable 1, or it may be declared as return data type function name within brackets data type list. There are three basic parts in this declaration. That is the function name. This is the name given to the function and it follows the same naming rules as that for any valid variable in C. Then is a return data type. This specifies the type of data given back to the calling construct by the function after it executes its specific task. The data type list. This list specifies the data type of each of the variables, the values of which are expected to be transmitted by the calling construct to the function. Next one is the function prototype declarations. Here are some of the examples of declaration statements. That is, float is the data type, then F2C is the function name, within brackets data list. Next one is the function definition. The collection of program statements in C that describes the specific task done by the function is called a function definition. It consists of function header and the function body, which is a block of code enclosed in parentheses. The definition creates the actual function in memory. The general form of the function definition is as follows. That is, return data type function name within brackets data type variable 1 comma data type variable 2. Then in open parenthesis, then function body, then closed parenthesis. The function header in this definition is return data type function within brackets data type variable 1 data type variable 2, and the portion of the program code within the braces is the function body. The function header is similar to the function declaration but does not require the semicolon at the end. The list of variables in the function header is also referred to as formal parameters. One point here is to be noted. That is, the names do not need to be the same in the prototype declaration and the function definition. If the types are not the same, then the compiler will generate an error. The compiler checks the types in the prototype statement with the types in the call to ensure that they are the same or at least compatible. The value of the indicated data type is returned to the calling function when the function is executed. The return statement, that is, a return data type, can be of any legal type. If the function does not return a value, the return type is specified by the keyword void. The keyword void is also used to indicate the absence of parameters. So a function that has no parameters and does not return a value would have the following header. That is void function name of void. A function with a return type specified as void should not be used in an expression in the calling function. Since it does not return a value, it cannot sensibly be part of an expression. Therefore, using it anyway will cause the compiler to generate an error message. There is no standard guideline about the number of parameters that a function can have. Here is the sample program to write a function that computes x power n, where x is any valid number and n an integer value. Here the function to compute integral powers of any valid number. The first argument is any valid number. The second argument is power index. Then the return statement. Here in this, the first statement in the function body declares a variable result that is initialized with the value 1.0. The variable result is local to the function, as are all automatic variables declared within a function body. This means that the variable result ceases to exist after the function has completed execution. The calculation is performed in the for loop. A loop control variable I is declared in the for loop, which will assume successive values from 1 to n. The variable result is multiplied by x once for each loop iteration. Thus, this occurs n times to generate the required value. If n is 0, the statement in the loop will not be executed at all, because the loop continuation condition will immediately fail, and so result will be left as 1.0. The next one is a return statement. The general form of the return statement is as follows: return expression or return of expression, where expression must evaluate to a value of the type specified in the function header for the return value. Here is the example is x is equal to power of, that is within brackets, power of 2, 5, 2 closed brackets. Here the inner call to the power returns 32, which is then used as an argument for the outer call to power. This call to power passes 32 and 2, and power will return the value 1024, which would get assigned to x. If a function returns a value, usually it has to be assigned to some variable, since a value is being returned. If there is no assignment specified, then it is a valid statement in C. Here the following statement may be used instead of the statement sum of a, b, to avoid the warning message, that is a void sum of a, b. Thus the return value is purposely discarded in this manner. If the type of return value has been specified as void, there must be no expression appearing in the return statement. It must be written simply as return. For such a case, the return statement may be omitted if desired. Also note that when a function does not return a value, the return statement is not followed by an expression, just a semicolon right away. Actually, if there is not a return statement at the end of a function and the execution gets to the end of the function, a return statement is assumed and the control goes back to the caller. A function can only return one value. A function with return type void does not return any values. There may be more than one return statement in a function, but only one return statement will be executed per calling to the function. The standard C permits the main to be defined with 0 or 2 parameters as demonstrated here. Next one is in function calling. Here, whenever the function is called from some portion of a program, which means the program control passes to that of the called function, Once a function completes its task, the program control is returned back to the calling function. Generally, a function will process information passed to it from the calling statement of a program and return a single value. A function with return type void does not return any value. It only returns the control from called function to the calling function. The general form of the function call statement is function name within brackets variable 1 comma variable 2, or it may be declared as variable name which is equal to function name of variable 1 comma variable 2. If there are no arguments to be passed in the function, the argument is void. Then the calling statement would be function name within null, or variable name equals function name of within null. Information will be passed to the function via special identifiers or expression called arguments or actual parameters and returned via the return statement. The next is the rules for parameters while using functions. The number of parameters in the actual and formal parameter list must be consistent. The parameter association in T is positional. This means that the first actual parameter corresponding to the first formal parameter, the second matches the second, and so on. Then the actual parameters and formal parameters must be of compatible data types. Then actual parameters may be a variable, constant, or any expression matching the type of the corresponding formal parameter. Here is a sample program for function calling. That is a write a C program that uses a function to convert a temperature from Fahrenheit scale to Celsius scale. Here this one is a function prototype, then this one is a function calling, this one is a function header. Then the call by value mechanism. The technique used to pass data to a function is known as parameter parsing. Data are passed to a function using one of the two techniques. One is the pass by value or call by value, and second one is the pass by reference or call by reference. In call by value method, a copy of the data is made and the copy is sent to the function. The copies of the value held by the arguments are passed by the function call. Since only copies of the values held in arguments are passed by the function call to the formal parameters of the called function, the value in the arguments remains unchanged. In other words, only the copies of the values held in the arguments are sent to the formal parameters. The function cannot directly modify the arguments passed. This can be demonstrated by the simple example. Here the num is equal to 3 before function call, the result is equal to 30 after return from the function. This one is a function prototype, this one is a function declaration, this one is a function definition. The second one is a pass by reference or call by reference. Here we send the address of the data rather than a copy. In this case, the called function can change the original data in the calling function. Unfortunately, C does not support pass by reference. Whenever the data in the calling function have to be changed, one must pass the variable's address and use it to change the value. Here values are passed by handling over the addresses of arguments to the called function. It is possible to change the values held within these arguments by executing the function. This appears as if multiple values are returned by the called function. Detailed will be explained in pointers chapter. Then working with the functions. Functions can be used in a program in various ways. Functions that perform operations on their parameters and return a value. Functions that manipulates the information on the parameters and returns a value that simply indicates the success or failure of that manipulation. The third one is a function having no return type, that is strictly procedural. The functions that perform operations on their parameters and return a value. This category may be classified into two types. One is a function with a fixed number of parameters. Second one is a function with variable number of parameters, such as printf function. This is a sample program that uses a function to find the greatest common divisor of two integers. To find the GCD using a function, two integers should be passed as a parameters, let they are x and y. It is needed to check whether k, that is for k is equal to 2, 3 or 4 and so on, the common divisor for x and y until k is greater than x or y. The common divisor is to be stored in a variable named result. Initially result is 1. Whenever a new common divisor is found, the value of result is updated with a new common divisor. When all the possible common divisors from 2 to up to x or y are checked, the value in the variable result is the greatest common divisor and it is returned to the calling function. Here is the implementation. Then another program is to print the prime factors for a given number using the function. Here the output is enter the number 51. The prime factor of 51 is 317. Then the function having no return type, that is strictly procedural. There are some points. C makes no distinction between subroutines, that is procedures and functions. In C, there is only the function which can optionally return a value. A function with void as return type simulates the procedure in C. When we pass the value of the typical variable to a function, a copy of that value gets assigned to the parameter. Changing the value of the parameter within the called function does not affect the value of the local variable in the calling function. When an array is passed to a function, we are actually passing the memory address of the array. If the called function changes specific entries in the array, these entries remain changed when control gets back to the calling function. When arrays or strings are passed to a function, call by value mechanism is not followed. Any modification made in the array or string parameter within the called function will be reflected in the original array or string in the calling function that was passed to the function. Another is a sample program that uses a function to sort an array of integers using bubble sort algorithm. That is, sorting an array in an ascending order means the rearranging the values in the array so that the elements progressively increase in value from the smallest to the largest. By the end of such a sort, the minimum value is contained in the first location of the array, whereas the maximum value is found in the last location of the array, with values that progressively increase in between. This example implements the bubble sort algorithm, which has been already discussed in the previous chapters. A function called sort takes two arguments, the array to be sorted and the number of elements in the array. Here the output of the program. The array before the sort is 3270649815. The array after the sort is, that is from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The next one is in passing array to the functions. Passing array to the function. Arrays can also be argument of the function. When an array is passed to a function, the address of the array is passed and not the copy of the complete array. Therefore, when a function is called with the name of the array as the argument, the address to the first element in the array is handed over to the function. Hence, when an array is a function argument, only the address of the array is passed to the function called. This implies that during its execution, the function has the ability to modify the contents of the array that is specified as function argument. Therefore, array is not passed to a function by value. This is an exception to the rule of passing the function arguments by value. Consider the following example. It is to be noted that the value of the variable is initialized with 10 as there are 10 values in the array, that is my integer. Here is another example, that is write a program that uses a function to find the maximum value of the array. When an array is passed to a function, actually the address of the first element, that is called the base address of an array, is passed, which is nothing but passing arguments by address. In general, when a one-dimensional array is passed to a function, it degenerates to a pointer. A local variable max underscore value is set to the first element of the values, and a for loop is executed which cycles through each element in values and assigns the maximum item to max underscore value. This number is then passed back by the return statement and assigned to the max in the main function. However, it has to be noted that an array name with an index number as a function argument will only pass that particular array element's value, like all other variables, to the function called. Strings are passed to the functions in the same way as they are one-dimensional arrays. By implementing string functions, it will be shown how strings are passed into and out of the function. That is, the multi-dimensional arrays are also allowed to be passed as the arguments to the function. The simplest type of such an array is the two-dimensional array. It may be recalled here that when a two-dimensional array is initialized, the number of rows need not to be specified. A similar technique is adopted while specifying the two-dimensional array as a formal parameter in the function header. The first dimension value can be omitted when a multi-dimensional array is used as a formal parameter in the function. That is, of course, the function will need some way of knowing the extent of the first dimension. For example, the function header could be written as follows. That is, double yield within brackets double the array of, that is AR of the first dimension, which is empty. The second dimension is 4, comma int index. The second parameter, index, would provide the necessary information about the first dimension of the array. The function can operate with the two-dimensional array with any value for the first dimension, but with the second dimension fixed at 4.